A common question owners have is whether Polysporin can be used on dogs. Let's explain everything in detail about this healing ointment and its use on dogs. Please remember, this advice is not professional and is intended for educational purposes only. Some veterinarians will prescribe Polysporin for use on dogs, and others won't. While the two main ingredients, bacitracin and polymyxin B, have been deemed safe for use on dogs, it can sometimes make things worse. Alternative solutions are usually preferred. First, what exactly is Polysporin? Polysporin is a double antibiotic ointment that is made for human use. It prevents infections from happening in minor grazes, cuts, wounds, and burns. It's an extremely well-known antibiotic ointment that's available all over the world. In some locations, you need it prescribed, but in others, you can buy it over the counter. Polysporin contains bacitracin and polymyxin B. Can you use Polysporin on dogs? While carrying out research, we learned that the two ingredients contained in Polysporin, bacitracin and polymyxin B, have been deemed safe for animals. At first, it seems like it gets the safe vote, but unfortunately, it's not that straightforward. Many veterinarians still put forth the argument that it is not safe for dogs, primarily due to the fact this medicine was originally made for use on humans, not animals, and due to its ability to cause allergic reactions, making matters worse. For some dogs, Polysporin will not produce an allergic reaction, and they will be able to reap the intended rewards, but for others, it could worsen their wound and cause a reaction. Still, many vets do approve the use of Polysporin when in small amounts, for very minor wounds or scrapes, and only in areas that the dog will not be able to lick. In cases like this, Polysporin will likely be fine to use, providing your dog doesn't have an intolerance to the ointment. It's always best to patch test any ointment you intend to use on your dog first in an area away from their face. This will allow you to check if the ointment causes any redness, irritation, inflammation, or discomfort. Where can you use Polysporin on a dog? If you do find yourself in a situation where you feel like using a small amount of Polysporin will help your dog, then it's wise to know which areas you should and shouldn't use it. 1. Ears, eyes, mouth. Always know, never use Polysporin around the eyes, ears, and mouth. You want to avoid him licking the ointment, ingesting, or getting it in his ears or eyes. This will likely make your dog very sick and could cause him a lot of irritation. 2. Paws. The most common place for dogs to pick up scraps and cuts is on their paws and legs. While you could use Polysporin here, you would likely need to use a bandage to prevent your dog from licking the ointment. Then again, using a bandage could encourage your dog to rip it off and inspect the area even more. The best places. The most appropriate place to use Polysporin is wherever he can't easily access it, depending on your dog and their size. They may not be able to reach their backside, back, certain parts of their underbelly or neck area. As long as your dog can't reach it to lick it, and it's not near his ears, eyes, or mouth, then it's likely a safer place to use Polysporin. The last thing we want is for our dog to ingest Polysporin. Alternatives to Polysporin. Because Polysporin is not made for animals, it's no surprise that many owners would prefer not to use it. So what alternatives are there to help your dog with a minor wound, scrape, or cut? 1. Vaseline. Providing the wound is only minor and properly cleaned and dried beforehand, you can safely use Vaseline. Vaseline acts as a barrier for bacteria and generally does not allow bacteria to grow, but the wound must be clean and dry before you use it. 2. Warm soapy water. Other than that, the best thing to do is clean the wound with warm soapy water, thoroughly dry it, and consult your veterinarian. Sometimes, nothing else will be needed to help the wound heal. However, this will depend on the location and the severity of it. If you are unsure of any wound or cut your dog has picked up, regardless of how minor it might be, it's always best to speak to your veterinarian and for them to take a look. Quick action is always the best action. Last thoughts. Some vets approve the use of Polysporin on dogs, and other veterinarians do not approve of its use. Ideally, if your dog gets a wound, you should clean it as best you can, dry it, and seek help from your veterinarian. Your dog may or may not respond well to Polysporin, and in the case they do not, it could make matters worse. If your veterinarian recommends it, you can ask for their assistance in applying it while at the vet in a controlled environment. Please understand the advice given in this video is not professional advice and you should seek help from your veterinarian. Thanks for watching and be sure to subscribe for more helpful content about your doggo.